Okay, go.
Okay. Hello there, my name is Jim Dierickx, and I invented a product that's called the Direct Drive Energy Product Suite, or DDE-X Suite of Power. And what it is an energy harvesting device that on a semi-trailer, the people that haul refrigerated freight around, it costs them a fortune to go from California to New York. As much as maybe 120 gallons a trip one way and then 120 back of fuel. And actually, that's why we created this product. We created this product to save people a bunch of fuel and a bunch of money and a bunch of emission standards on their diesel trucks for the refrigerated tank. And it just came to me one day. Actually, the background behind this product is really unique. I used to have a business that made strollers and car seats, and it was called Stroll and Go Child Products. And then we sold that business to a man in Canada who always thought he could do better than me. And that's always good when someone thinks they can sell a product better than you, because you know you're going to get more money for it. And any which way, we then, I had to go to Ohio to sign all the paperwork away. And his attorney was there, and we got it all done. And then on the way back home, I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to do now? And a friend of mine here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, has a ministry called CERTEC, which stands for the Center to Restore Exploited and Trafficked Children. Okay? And during that, they take in kids that are trafficked across the world. Like, some of these kids come from Asia, and they're shipped over here in shipping containers and then used for criminal enterprises, like unfortunately, like child pornography and the sex trade. And I was thinking that my friend's ministry called CERTEC takes these kids in, like when the FBI and ICE and people like that come in, and they get these kids out and they don't know where they're supposed to go. So what they end up doing then is taking them in, but that's going to cost a lot of money to have all these kids go through their treatment before they can even go to foster care. And I was thinking to myself on the way back from Dayton, Ohio to Iowa, where I live, I wondered if there's anything I could do to make that better. And then it came to me that I could make a sensor that maybe could stop people being smuggled into this country in shipping containers and trailers and railroad cars and stuff like that. And to make it to where I could detect people in containers and biological warfare stuff in containers and chemical warfare stuff in containers and dirty bomb material in containers, to where that container would send out a signal like a friend and foe transponder, and then it would tell law enforcement to look inside there so we can make our port safer. But the thing was that sensor that I'm still working on in my garage, that is not released yet, my patent attorney says I can always tell what it does but not how. So I figured we're good to go there. Would take a lot more power than what a little like 9-volt lamp, than a little 9-volt battery could give or something like that. That, well, maybe we'd use like a deep cycle marine battery so the thing could be powered weeks on end on the trailer without having to be changed. And I thought, well, I wonder if I could take a little wheel and put it on the wheel of the semi-trailer so when it goes down the road at 55 or 60 mile an hour, I was thinking for the sensor that we could power then the sensor and the battery and always keep it charged up. And I thought, well, I wonder if that would work, putting a little wheel in a drive shaft and turning one alternator to recharge the deep cycle battery. And sure enough, another hour or two down the road on the drive home, I had a vision in my mind that I think comes directly from God that basically showed me then how to make it. And I thought, well, I wonder if it'd work on refrigerated semi-trailers. I wonder if I could generate enough power from the wheel rotation when the vehicle's going down the road at 60 to 65 mile an hour to power a refrigerator unit like on these big trucks. And then another hour down the road, I had the vision in my mind how to build the product. And then when I got home, I started doing a lot of research and development over the internet, doing all kinds of web searches for the different. So then I had to take it to the next step, and then the next part was power conversion, and that took me a little while. But by the time I got done, we're basically going to be able to change the whole marketplace as far as variable speed drives, grid-tied inverters for the solar industry and wind industry. And then also to create the mobile 3-phase power on a truck when it goes down the road at 60 mile an hour. And then what we make as far as the power pack fits on the trailer frame and that wheel spins and it makes electricity and it goes through a conversion thing to make 3-phase power. And we make a hybrid kit at the front of reefer, thank you. And then that's what we do. My own tangents, I don't need no other co-tangents. But like I said, I'm like Larry, the cable guy meets Thomas Edison. But only I'm better than both of them. And I'm not bashful about being on TV. It just really felt weird because I couldn't see what was going on, and now I can. Yeah. And some people say, I am energy, just like somebody said they invented the internet a couple presidents back. But seriously, the reason we're doing this company and why I got into this was because seriously, oil almost killed me 20 years ago, and I want to kill oil today. I'm serious. This is the serious part here right now. When I was in the first Middle East war, we went in to liberate the nation of Kuwait, and I was there up in Kuwait City when Saddam Hussein set all them oil wells on fire. And that's why I got a raspy voice, because it scarred my vocal cords. When you blow your nose in the morning, it looked like crude oil. You blow your nose and it was just black. And then my sinuses got scarred by that. And all that fine oil particles got in my lungs. And it gave me, what do they call it? Chronic obstructionary disease or something. And then I went back down south to Saudi Arabia to go back home. All that fine sand got mixed in with that oil, and I still got stuff that comes up 20 years later. Ooh. I've had to overcome a lot. I was diagnosed by the Veterans Administration with what they call post-traumatic stress disorder. And I went through a period of time for several years after 9/11 where I was just like left in my house to my own devices. I couldn't really do anything because so bound by anxiety and nerves and all that kind of stuff. It was really hard to live. I mean, the creativity that the Lord Jesus Christ has given me has actually helped me. The creativity in the invention process somehow is really helping bring me back to reality. I still suffer bouts of depression, but and stuff, and anxiety rarely now, but a lot more depression still, because I still want to forget what I saw. What don't kill you only makes you stronger. And it gave me a resolve, though, that I knew that someday I was going to turn stuff around and we're going to start making money again. And what I learned in the past, what you learn, that it's hard for them to take away. Okay? Yeah. And all that experience of product development and starting a business has really gone the right way. And again, I wanted to create a product that would save this country oil and save on our environment and make us less dependent on foreign oil to create a better national security for this country. Amen. Because I was over there, and just like every guy in the Army now or Marine Corps or any branch, they're fighting for our freedoms here. But it's sort of like we got a guy that we gave a gun to years ago who hates us now, and he wants us to give him the money to buy the bullets with so he can shoot us. Yeah. And that's what we're going across with these people. And the thing that keeps me up at night with my invention is the fact that I got the 4 boys, my oldest is 18 now, all the way down to 10, and I'm afraid that they're going to have to go over there to fight for oil in America's way of life and come back cracked like me and disabled veteran like I am. Mm-hmm. And that's what keeps me awake at night. Mm-hmm. The older my kids get, they'll realize that we didn't do what was right the first time because we were constrained compared to going in and taking care of this problem when we could have easier. Mm-hmm. So we had to go back 10 years later and take care of it the right way. But it still isn't taken care of. It's been 20 years since I was there. All that is said, that I think that we got one of the best products in the world, and it's so simple, but yet it works. Product development of it, I even tell this to people. We put the wheel that fits on a wheel, which you're going to see in the material I'm going to give you, or when I take you around and show you my product in the video. I was afraid, I wasn't sure what was going to happen when we started it up the first time. When we put this wheel follower onto a trailer. Because I had 12 alternators that were going to engage and create magnetic field. I don't know if we're going to get sucked into the ditch. So I had a guy drive my Expedition with my demo trailer hooked up to it. And we're talking on cell phones, and I'm hanging on to one thing. And he's driving down the road, and I don't see what's going on even. And I tell him to tell me when we get to 35 or 40, and to be careful, he might have to hit the brakes really quick. So I turn on this switch. And nothing happened except all my lights started up and I started producing 25 kilowatts of electricity as I was driving down the road, and you couldn't even tell. It didn't pull it to one side or the other. And then we started making electricity. Just one time I used to work alone in my other building. I moved from Davenport to my workshop that's on my acreage now. But I remember I had to teach myself electricity, and sometimes I had to teach myself the hard way. I told my wife, this is about 10 o'clock at night, I used to work alone. I said, if you don't hear from me by 8:30 in the morning, call the law, because I might have electrocuted myself. And I almost did that night, because I hooked up something wrong, and that taught me a big lesson. It cost me it was about a $5,000 mistake on wiring a transformer and inverter wrong. Wow. And I hit a button, and I hit this button and started up this system, and all of a sudden, this piece of electronics equipment went up like a flash bulb at about 2 a.m. and I'm in this trailer and it blinded me for a second.
Oh my God.
But it melted 2-gauge wire. 2-gauge wire is about as thick as my finger here, and it just melted the wire. The plastic and the copper started to melt. You know, I thought it was going to burn my trailer down. I thought I was going to get on through all kinds of stuff to get this to market. But really, it's been my own efforts and the good Lord above. In my time and stuff, and that's a good thing because I got my own machine shop and in my workshop that I can make anything out of metal, I can make anything out of wood, and now that I taught myself electrical, I can wire anything as well. Country could see what we have, so we can get this thing out in scale and save multi-billions of gallons of fuel a year.
Yeah.
Because every truck that uses this, if they use refrigeration full time, could save as much as 7,000 gallons of fuel a year. Now that may not sound like a lot, but that's a lot more than you're going to drive your own car in a year.
Yeah,
and that'd be like equivalent to driving 150,000 miles a year, Mike.
Well, that's a lot.
For diesel fuel.
And what's the carbon equivalent?
Yeah, the carbon equivalent is 22 pounds of CO2 for every gallon of diesel fuel combusted in a motor.
Wow. So,
and if I save 10,000 gallons, it'd be like saving 200,000 pounds or so of CO2 emissions.
Wow.
It'd be like 80 tons to 100 tons of CO2 not emitted per trailer refrigeration unit. Man. And there's like about 2 million for sure units that can be retrofitted with this technology. So this game mass in the trucking fleet, just the trucks now, not the railroad cars, not the other stuff. You're talking billions, hundreds of millions of gallons of fuel savings in a year's time.
Yeah.
You know, it might even be like an oil tanker a week taken out of production because it won't be using it.
Right.
And then we're going to work on other stuff on the trailers, you know, on the big rigs. And maybe we can increase the fuel efficiency by 2 or 3 miles a gallon. Or maybe 10 miles a gallon. Who knows? Whatever happens through a combination of a lot of new technologies that we're going to be working on. But this one we're starting with. And then I want to go work on that sensor and take the